morning and welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a quick flip through of the fabric wraparound journal. I also need to apologise, there was no video last week. As probably most of the world knows, we had a power outage here in Spain and I got a power back, but the internet has not been very good and I couldn't upload anything. So it was going in and out so much. We seem to have got a bit more steady yesterday, which is Friday. So hopefully this will go up tonight, I'm hoping. Anyway, this is the fabric wraparound journal that I did a couple of videos on how I put it together and then some ephemera. So I've tied it up with some chiffon. We made these, and I think I put the link in the last video or the first video, I can't remember, but I'll put the link again of how we made these little booklets out of some book pages with this small closure. I enlarged a sheet of the paper from the Blue Dreams kit from St. Paul. By the way, that's what I'm using with a couple of others. Again, I'll put the link below. And I put some blue flowers from Roxy Creations and a label. And then it undoes, and we have the journal here. I've put a cameo. It's not vintage by any means, but I thought it went well with this. And I'd also wrapped this around. I've had it a while. Picked it up in a charity shop, and I haven't attached here, so there's room to put something in the back here, and obviously I've put this one in the front here. I have, to make this more stable, I have glued the sides down here, but there is a small pocket here and here. I will say it's not something I would do like this again. I would do a wraparound, but just to wrap the journal in, I think, in future, if I did one of these again. This was quite difficult with this. And as you know, and I've told you many times, I don't really sew. So this is the journal. I've wrapped it with some sari, pale blue sari silk. And we made this when I did the cover, etc. Oh, there's Amity Bloom on the front here. I can't remember. I put some lace down the sides here. And then this is Roxy Creations, and I reinforced it with the fabric that made the pocket. Again, this was something I made a while ago. Some mixed media journal cards, probably a while ago, for a challenge. So I thought that went quite well in there. There's that old book page, some embossed packaging paper. I've put in I don't know where it's from, but it's French, 1937. A small card, letter. This is watercolour paper I've tea dyed. Gothic page from German Gothic writing from 1860. Page from the kit. As I say, I'll list everything down below. And I've used rusted paper clips. This is just a sheet where I've just put in some cards here that I've put on. Oh, I'll show you this side here, and I've just inked it up. So I've just put them aside, put all that together later. Some more vintage paper. That's from the Count of Monte Cristo book from the early 1900s. Tea-dyed paper. This is from a logarithm book. I believe that was the early night. I think it was 1906. This is from the kit, and I've put an old vintage from Austria postage stamp on there. used up some of the material I had left for a pocket and put a piece of vintage letter that I'd torn up, had the last piece left, and a small photo. Again, this we made a while ago, and I'll link all these videos again down below with an up tuck. Some Japanese rice paper with writing, and a vintage postcard. Not sure when from, I can't read it, but they've written all over it. From Hanover, I think, I can't quite read it. And a vintage tea card, wildflowers. That was some stenciling I did on the coffee dye paper using some mica sprays. And then we've made this in the ephemera. Tracy Fox made these, and this is her kit. And I've done this was on newsprint. I've did a batch of these a couple of years ago, and I've just hardly used them. So I thought it's time to, as I said, this year it's about trying to use up everything. Not everything won't get used, will it? Got too much. A vintage invoice, some Arabic paper I've tea dyed, a tag from the kit. Sorry, the other piece of the newsprint. I've just put a label from Love Labels from Paper Cameo, and this was from the kit with a piece of lace. And this is decorator's paper I've used on that. The middle tag from the kit. These clusters I've also done a video on. I will link that. And this is from Tracy Fox's Blue French kit. The other side of the invoice, 1913. A tag from the kit. And this was just off another piece of paper from the kit that I just cut out. Made a pocket there, tea dye paper, vintage postcard from Italy. Not sure when from, but it looks probably early 1900s. I thought the blues went, and I've just decorated this with a tulle ruffle and a label. The Japanese paper, another postcard from the kit, and again this is from the Netherlands stamp, and I've just stamped over a mark over it, postage mark over it, and I've put some of this blue lace here, embroidered lace with a butterfly. This we made with the ephemera as well. I do like these. Definitely going to be making more of them, I think. And this was a piece I had in my to-do box, and it was just a covered tag in book pages, so I've just put a collage on there. And again here, this was a piece of the paper left over, so I wrapped it so you can write down here, put the piece of the embossed packaging over it, and an image from with some lace, and an image from the kit, and then just again another scrap I had left. And this is from Tracy Fox's Blue French scraps, and a couple of little scrappy tag pieces. What I did, where the envelope was, I just cut along there to make a sort of little slit to put the cards in like that. Page from the kit, the Gothic German. And this is an envelope I made from some of the paper I've got left over, with again a couple of cards from the kit, and I've put some of that electrical tapes on the side there. That comes up quite well if you don't make your own. I'm trying to put a link. It will probably be for Amazon ES, but I'm sure you'll find it whichever country you live in. the embossed packaging, vintage paper, book page, doily, back of there. And then this is the, again, the music sheet pockets I made. I will link that video again as well. And then these are these little notebooks I made a couple of years ago. So yes, I am beginning to use things up, and a couple of other pieces. And I made this for here anyway, for this book. So that's my journal. I hope you've enjoyed that, and thank you very much for watching. As I say, not sure I will do this again, but I would do the wraparound cover, but not with the pocket. That was quite complicated. Anyway, thanks a lot. Speak to you all again soon, and I hope you have a good weekend. Bye.